Okay. Time. Coffee is never still. It moves through soils, through time, through hands. So have I. My name is Rebecca. Honored to be your barista today. I was born in China. Grew up in America for almost 10 years until I graduated from the University of Pennsylvania. And today, I work with coffee in Portugal. My story, just like coffee's, has been one of movement, each place teaching me something new. And in fact, my journey with coffee didn't begin on a farm. Correction, my journey with coffee didn't begin in a cafe, rather on a farm high in the mountains of Yunnan province, China. Lifting sacks of cherries, sorting, floating, fermenting, and shuffling drying beds under the sun. It was hard work physically, but it grounded me, teaching me that coffee doesn't just begin with sensory. It also begins with respect to the land, with care, and with labor. So today, I'll be sharing 2 coffee that mimics the same spirit of movement. I'll be using a washed geisha from China that's grown in proximity of the mountains where I used to work. And then a natural Panama geisha, where the seeds of the China originate and where also this varietal is the most celebrated. Together, through 3 courses, served in the sequence of espresso, milk, and signature, I invite you to taste how the same seed can become something very different with different soil. To taste how movement, when we welcome it, can become beauty. I have now just finished preparing the espresso for our signature drink that will be served last. And now, let's move on to our first course. We begin with China. A washed geisha from Yunding Zhuchao Estate, from Menglian County, Pu'er, Yunnan Province. The cherries are grown at an altitude between 1,600 to 1,750 meters above sea level. And then, handpicked at full ripeness, over 18 bricks to be exact. Then they're depulped, washed, and dried on raised beds for between 10 to 15 days. Let me tell you a little bit more about the farm. Yunding Zhuchao Specialty Estate has deep roots in tea cultivation. And in 2021, its owner, Yao Dexian, together with his teammates, decide to plant geisha seeds from Panama for the very first time. Although the crop history is relatively short, the results are remarkable. Drawing on their expertise in tea cultivation, they built an irrigation and processing system powered by mountain spring water, whose mineral content gives rich and clear clarity to the cup. I'm using 20 grams in, 52 grams out, brewed at 93 degrees. Judges, in front of you, I have placed cards that contain all the information that you will need to guide your sensory experience. So please refer to that. Your cup will have notes of red apple, pomegranate, and lemongrass. The body is medium to low, silky. And please note that you will taste cedar notes in your cup, which is a character typical of this geisha in this new terroir. So when I serve your drink, judges, please assess the crema first and wait till I stir for you. To me, this cup represents clarity of the typical geisha varietals, but also an identity that expands with a new terroir. Together, they show that movement can bring transformation while preserving the same essence. Please enjoy.
Geisha has impacted me at origin, not only as a person, as a barista, but as someone who truly believes that flavor without connection is drinking. So today I'm holding on that connection. From there it's farm, in our hands, and we all have. I'm starting with diamond as a base. This gives us plurality and citrus fruit, but I wanted to layer it into a complex experience. I'm starting off with geisha and brown grapes. They were big as 18% bricks. Then extend them to prevent any effective reaction. Frozen for 48 hours to elevate its sweetness. Afterwards, remove the defrosted it and juice it. Then, by adding 20 grams of this white grape juice to diamonds, you'll find a new flavor of extra juice. The second ingredient, I've infused milk with 2 ingredients. The first of them you'll find.
Are we ready for our second course? I'm bringing a Panama natural geisha from Jansen Farm, Los Alpes Estate, one of the most well-known regions for this varietal. The cherries in this lot are from 1,650 meters above sea level, correction. And then they're fermented anaerobically for 48 hours before they're moved to African beds in dehumidification rooms controlled and dried for 14 days. This will give your cup very complex, fruity vibrancy. For my recipe, I'm using 20 grams in, 50 grams out. 1 portion of espresso would correspond to 3 times the milk. For my milk, I decided to use a complementary blend with 60% whole milk for structure, 30% lactose-free milk for added sweetness, and 10% of almond milk for complexity. Then the milk are freeze distilled to 30%, giving it a denser and creamier texture. Judges, now you can flip your card to the second page. Your drink will have low acidity, reminding us of pomelo, high sweetness, reminding me of caramel,
As we enjoy this daily, let us not only remember what David's supplication like.
and white floral notes, particularly of magnolia, adding elegance to the cup. I designed this drink to be especially sweet, to cater to most people who are first to their coffee experiences. Now, when I serve your drink, I invite you to assess the visuals first. And then, stir with the spoon in front of you, the clean spoon, 5 times clockwise circular motion. After you're done with the spoon, you can place it in the dirty cup. I invite you to enjoy your drink right away, so the flavors are at their best. So if our first espresso drink showed clarity, this milk course shows transformation. The same seed, a different soil, and a completely different personality. One that is much more warmer, open, and vibrant. Please enjoy. Are we ready for our final course? Before I begin my signature drink, I'd like to draw your attention to these saucers underneath your water glasses. They're made from 17th and 18th century Portuguese tiles. And if you look at the patterns, they tell a story of connection. As Moorish craft, European influences, and Islamic design all go into the history of these tiles. And this is what I designed my signature drink based on, blending the first two coffees you've tasted, using 50% of each Panama and Chinese geisha. I aim for a new drink that not imitates sameness, but shows how difference can arise with harmony. To build this drink, I'm using 20 grams of prune reduction that will transform the acidity notes into darker fruits, building on our red fruity notes in our first 2 cups. 20 grams of wildflower honey infused with nutmeg to add to the complex floral and spices characters. And finally, 30 grams of plain yogurt to round your cup with a sweetness that is creamy. Now, judges, you can flip to the last page. So your cup will have a light to medium body. Silky, reminding me of fruity tea. With notes of blueberry mixed with citric, that kind of fruity tea. Complex spice notes. With a long finish of floral that lingers. So, judges, please hold until I call time when you enjoy your drink. To me, please feel the tiles and look at them as you enjoy this drink. As these tiles are still surfaces that record the motion that has happened through history and generations, so are the cups that contain the journeys of the 2 coffees that we enjoy today, telling us that movement does not erase identity, it adds to it. The difference is not about division, it's about harmony and motion. So please enjoy this cup of motion in harmony. Time.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That was our third group.